What's up, man? Lost in Seattle, and little bit of jubilation. Maybe we're gonna wake up now, but
I just knew I was gonna wake up and Virginia was gonna be taken by the Democratic Party.
yeah, maybe I don't think they had the balls to do it with this one. But in Virginia, the governor of Virginia now is a Republican, and that's a very, very, very bad sign for the Democratic Party.
Good.
The fact that they've only been in office for months now and it already flipped back.
Republican.
It already flipped Republican. So the reason why this race was important is because this race gives them an idea of the temperature in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
They lost the lieutenant governor, and the attorney general of Virginia. And they almost lost New Jersey.
So it's been called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Murphy won in New Jersey. The Democrat dude in New Jersey won. Y'all don't understand. That's a big. There's no way that race should not have even been close. Both these candidates, by the way, these Republican candidates came out of nowhere. They really didn't have a backing of a history. So they came out of nowhere and was able to push these Democrats, which tells me that 2022, they're getting washed out. And it's no surprise that right before this election, you know who became the big topic right before it's time to vote? The Negroes. You see this opinion piece in Washington Post. This is a black man who wrote this. Black people save the republic by saving Virginia again. Now, it's funny because right here he says black people. But when he tweeted this out, he made sure to point out black women. They tried to do that same tactic. Apparently, Washington Post wasn't cool with him putting just black women in the title.
Why would he do that?
Because it's what they do now. The Democratic Party think it's smart to constantly boost the head up of black women that we need you. Please vote for us. You're so needed for us. And then after they vote for them, they don't give them shit. But they think that the high of being needed is enough. And unfortunately for a lot of
superheroes.
They want to be the superhero. And unfortunately for a lot of our sisters, it is enough. We see them out here constantly defending the Democrats no matter what they do to, or don't do, should I say, for their people. The constant promises that they break. They never allow an actual plan to be created by their people and given to the politician. We saw what happened with Ice Cube. He came with a plan, not asking for stuff. He came with a plan, and he was berated, completely attacked for months. But, there goes without saying. So in this article, this guy, Jonathan, for a few weeks now, a factoid about forthcoming vote in Virginia's governor race between Democrat Terry McAuliffe and Republican Glenn Youngkin has seemed to spell certain doom. You see, black voters have put white Democrats over the top in Virginia elections before, wrote NPR's Dominicio Montanaro. Last week, considered that in 2013, he lost the white vote by 20 points, according to the exit polls, but he won more than 90% of the black voters. That made up 20% of the electorate, and it was enough to help to a 3-point victory. 90%.
And didn't get shit out of it.
My God. You know who else agreed to my assessment? He ran into him at D.C. restaurant not long after writing the column in April 2014. And guess who put you in the governor's mansion? I asked him, not expecting the answer before I could say he thundered, black women.
How he know black women put him in off?
So I guess the black men's vote just don't even mean
they
shit.
They just discredit the black men's vote. It's just...
They just disrespect him left and right. So right here, the governor singled out a literal demographic. Not black people, just black women. And you wonder why you... Okay.
Somebody gonna say jealous. Y'all just jealous that black women save the world again.
We saved the world. All right, sis. So I'm showing that to show you, they already started pushing game. This was right before the election. They was already playing the game already.
It didn't work.
And it didn't work. Now, I don't know the exit polls numbers. I don't know what percentage of black people voted for him. I'm sure he got a way higher percentage than a Republican. But I'm pretty sure the turnout amongst black voters was lower than they wanted. The white voters turned out. They went out.
It should be.
Which is funny also because Youngkin, the Republican, he won the college. He mollywopped him with a college-educated white woman. So the white women were trending it early this morning. They was attacking white women, and the Republican white women was like, I guess we're the worst thing ever now.
They should say, well, they're just mad because we're the new superheroes.
They said we saved America. But yeah, what's funny to me is all they had to do. They've been getting told for I don't know how long now. If you just do what you're supposed to do, you'll get the votes. They told people, if you vote for us, we'll do something for you afterwards. They voted for you, and you ain't do shit for them. Matter of fact, let's look at the bills that you passed since you've been in office. Now look at this. In 2021, under Biden, anti-hate crime bill for Asians. Remember that happened earlier the year. What happened to the ass whoopings, by the way? They just stopped? Nobody ain't whooping their ass no more? All right. $450K for Latinos. They said, oh, that's a lawsuit. That's not actual government implement. That's a lawsuit somebody filed on behalf of immigrants. We saw that.
Do we need to file a lawsuit for reparations on the behalf of black Americans that are descendants of slaves?
There was a lady, that black woman, Black Woman's Views. She be on Roland Martin's show. She's a heavy Kamala supporter. She got connection to him. She came out and defended, hey, this is not the Biden administration. These are lawsuits put forth in favor of them. But if you really want support reparations for Black Americans, you need to go support HR 40. A study? This ain't no study.
They're not.
They're already talking about the numbers.
They're not studying whether or not.
They're not studying whether or not to give these Latinos.
They're saying that they deserve.
This is how much money we're trying to get. These are going to be the numbers.
And how they trying to ease it is seeking asylum.
Yeah.
No, you just can't walk into a country and seek asylum.
They were seeking asylum, got separated from their children.
That's their fault.
Now we can. Somebody else allegedly filed a lawsuit in favor of them.
That's their problem.
So it's like, okay.
How come Black Americans didn't run to Mexico seeking asylum from?
They did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the
Seminoles.
The Seminoles.
And some of them would come. They try to capture some of them, send them back into slavery. But $6.4 billion for humanitarian assistance for Afghans. If you didn't laugh, you'd be pissed off that they just spit in your face constantly. Indian Nation Land Act for Native Americans this week, and statues for Black folks. An offer of $1,000 a year lived to Tulsa victims. Oh, don't forget the George Floyd statue and the Breonna Taylor statue, and the hip hop holiday, and the Juneteenth holiday. That's what it gives you. They don't give you land and money.
Nothing tangible.
No legislation. Just bills and holidays and statues.
So y'all can take those holidays, party, go out and spend stuff for the holidays they give you.
We're going to give you a holiday to spend money on.
To give you a holiday to go spend money on the holiday to keep revenue going in the economy.
Let's see some of these things that I got up here about what Biden and Kamala have thought about reparations for Black people. This is Biden. Biden said, I'll be damned if I feel responsible to pay for what happened 300 years ago. This is Biden in 1975.
Come on, man.
This is the article they wrote. Kamala Harris on reparations for slavery. It can't just be, hey, write some checks.
I'm not just going to do anything just for Black people.
It can't just be, hey, write some checks. Now, this is a Jamaican Indian person, American.
Brahmin.
Who's telling you what it's not going to be.
Brahmin Indian.
But the worst one of all, Jim Clyburn. Y'all, listen, if you're in South Carolina, Jim Clyburn is up for re-election in 2022. There's no way in hell if he tries to run again, he should look.
If Jim, what's his name?
Clyburn.
If Clyburn get re-elected, we cutting off South Carolina Negroes.
South Carolina, you got to go.
South Carolina Negroes being cut off.
You're actually working against your people. You can't keep voting for this dude. Let me show y'all what he was on the floor of the Congress talking about. This is an African American man. Let's see what he was talking about on the floor.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to call upon this august body for a favorable vote on H.R. 1619. That's a very interesting number for this legislation. This legislation known as the Catawba Indian Nations Lands Act. The Catawba Indian Nation Lands Act clarifies that the Catawba Indian Nation is subject to the well-established rules and regulations of the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act on their modern and ancestral lands in the state of North Carolina. This legislation will clarify the tribe's 1993 Land Claims Settlement Act and reaffirm recent action taken by the Department of Interior to take land into trust for the tribe. Most importantly, this bipartisan legislation is a very significant step towards rectifying historic injustices that have been perpetrated against the Catawba Indian Nation. Like in many other instances of current effects of historical inequities, the Catawba Nation experiences high unemployment and poverty rates, causing many of its citizens to rely upon federal and state governments for basic social service. The enactment of this legislation is critical to helping the Catawba Indian Nation secure economic self-sufficiency as Congress originally intended when it passed the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act of 1988. I respectfully ask my colleagues for a favorable vote on this act, and I yield back the rest of my time.
This is who Jim Clyburn is fighting for.
I don't give a fuck about those people.
You understand? He is fighting on the floor for these people.
But won't fight on the floor for
His own.
his own.
Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all a clip of what he had to say. We've shown this before. When somebody got in his face and asked him about reparations for his people.
If you wait on cash payments to come out of reparations, you're going to wait forever. It's not going to happen. So what you got to do, let me talk. Don't put that in my face.
Why are you touching me?
Okay, all right. I'm going to leave you alone.
Cut the check. Tell Nancy Pelosi to cut the check.
Yeah.
You do that for me?
She's the treasurer.
Cut the
Is
check.
she the
Somebody
treasurer?
better cut the check.
Well, you
Reparations are owed, sir.
You talk to the
ADOS. You're not going to run away from this issue, Congressman.
Oh, I'm not trying to run away from it.
It seems like you are. You're walking away right now.
Oh. If you
Like I said, if he didn't laugh, you'd be pissed off all the damn time.
Back in the ancient world,
Somebody
would've got-
don't do it.
somebody would have got.
They're gonna call that attack on a government official or calling for violence on a government official. Can't do that. We're gonna move on because stuff got to get said, and we keep on this dude right here. Hold on. Now this is a video, if I'm not mistaken, of it. This is a Caucasian dude, and he's talking about how much they would owe. I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this is about the migration. He's gonna tell how much is owed to just that one. This is a group, not all black people. It's a fragment of how much they will be owed. Let me show you.
Idea of trying to find out how much was stolen legally from the African American community during the Second Great Migration, which was 1940 to 1970. And on the basis of pretty good research, have come to the conclusion that it was at least a minimum of $500 million. And that is $500 million not adjusted for inflation. If you adjust it for inflation, it'd be well over $3 billion today. Basically, white folks created the ghetto. The dominant culture created the ghetto because banks wouldn't loan, FHA wouldn't loan, the federal government was only benefiting middle-class white people. There's a direct link between the crime that exists today, between the education gap, between the slum conditions, between joblessness, and all the rest that we're so horrified about the ghetto. And the problem is that the dominant culture did it.
Now, when he said that, it made me think of critical race theory. Yet when you say the things he said and say that's what critical race theory is, people who are supposed to be educators and experts in it will say that's not what it is.
What he just explained was redlining.
Yeah, I'm saying, but when I think of, because the topic in the Virginia race became about teaching their students, the kids, and the Democratic governor said something so stupid. This is why I said they're such terrible politicians. He actually said on camera in front of a crowd that parents don't basically don't control what their kids learn in school. And he was done after that. It was already over for him. I don't know if he knew it, but he lost that second. Because then the Republican dude ran that to the ground. He kept bringing up critical race theory. And I was like, critical race theory, when you hear it, and I'm telling you, I've watched videos, I've read articles on it. Nobody seems to know what the hell it is. Because when you say critical race theory is how racism impacted black people historically, how it's led to where they are now. But they say, well, no, it's more than that. And you go, what the hell is it? So critical race theory seems to include race, gender, and sexuality. But it's called critical race theory. And y'all always use black people as the foundation. So what the hell is it? I've read articles. I've watched videos of people who are doctors, who have doctorate degrees and all this stuff, who are supposed to be experts. And they even say it's not hard, it's not easy to explain. So why the hell, if you bring it up, it's just so hard to explain to everybody? And by the way, go ahead.
They use black people to promote anything. They use black people as a face of an agenda they want to promote. You'll see a Black Lives Matter on a door or on a window, a building supposedly supporting Black Lives Matter. Then next to it, they'll have the LBG alphabet community's flag on it, and then they'll incorporate Latinos or something else in it.
Yeah, it's all coalition building. So critical race theory, which comes from critical theory, by the way, which is created by a man who's a Marxist. So kind of 1 + 1 is 2. So that's why critical race theory can't just be what it sounds like it is. It has to be more, because they're using it to funnel in other stuff, to push other agendas, as they always do. But here you go, a man who's saying that the migration from 1940 to 1970 cost Black America $500 million, which is $3 billion with inflation. That's just the migration from that 30-year window. That's it. So post and pre that, it's another couple. It's trillions.
Trillions.
But it ain't never happening.
It's not gonna happen, but
no, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen when we get ready to go.
Yeah, it's gonna happen when this thing is done with. When you get reparations, it's gonna be blatant why you getting it. It's when it's over with. Another thing I found interesting with Youngkin is I read some articles. You can make an argument that the reason why the state flipped is because of a surprising demographic: Ethiopians
And Eritreans.
They seem to, just the same way you got Minneapolis, you got a lot of Ethiopians and
the Somalians are in Minneapolis.
In Virginia, apparently they have a decent sized Ethiopian Eritrean group.
They in Washington D.C. too,
and they voted for Youngkin. A good percentage of them. They helped flip it to him
because they come from a country where they've seen stuff like Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like communist type stuff.
I'm
talking about like Cuba.
In this video, he says that he's talking about creating a trading lane with Ethiopia. So you can make an argument, as somebody said in this tweet, they already negotiated some stuff before they even voted. Almost like somebody else tried to negotiate before a vote and was attacked. Well, let's see what Youngkin had to say about his Ethiopian Eritrean supporters.
We're also going to explore expanding our trading relationships with Ethiopia. I mean, we should in fact be deeply engaged in trade for coffee and spices and knit and woven materials and electrical machinery. There are all kinds of opportunities that we can go explore together. Finally, I ask you to get out and vote. Exercise your constitutional rights. Go to the polls and cast your vote for your next governor. And I ask you to vote for me, please. We together can build an amazing Virginia. So thank you for letting me join you. I hope you have a great fall festival. and let's make Virginia the best state in America to live, work, and raise a family.
So Ethiopia said do some trading with spices and coffee and stuff, and you got our vote?
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think he was just making a point that we want to work with them. But for them to have voted
Seemed like he was doing advertisement for him.
for them to have voted for him in such a bulk, apparently, clearly something he said, some legislation he's came up with or something, they feel would benefit them. So they voted in their interest, which is what you're supposed to do. It doesn't matter which candidate or which party they're part of. If they're offering something that helps you or an interest to your community, you're supposed to vote for it. But instead, our people in America, for some reason, if the wrong candidate offers us something that's good for us, we won't accept it because you're part of the wrong gang. You're part of the wrong clique. We really got to get over that, man. If you're
some people say loyalty.
Some people, if you're somebody who believes in the political process being what's going to save or help our people, you have to be willing to work with anybody. There's no way you can show loyalty in politics. No one shows loyalty in politics. Politicians show no loyalty. We saw them say all this shit before the election. Right after the election, around in the early part of January, they immediately changed the direction of the talking points. Immediately. They told you before the election, no mandates. They told you that before the election, your kids are going to be in school. They told you that before the election, they wouldn't do all this stuff. And as soon as they got in office, bam. Because they don't show no loyalty. They think they know what's better they think they know what to do more than you know what you want. They know what's best for you, so just listen. And I'm going to show y'all what Van Jones had to say about that, considering they just lost this election in Virginia.
I think that the Democrats are coming across in ways that we don't recognize, that are annoying and offensive and seem out of touch in ways that I don't think show up in our feeds when we're looking at our kind of echo chamber. And I think that this is a message here. I think that
He said they're annoying. And I'm glad he didn't cry. I'm glad he didn't get on TV crying. I guess they got to save that for 2022. That's the big. So they must pay him the big money when he cried. That's when they give him the real money. Every time he cry, he trend for the wrong reasons, but he still trend. So he saved that for the big moments, the elections, the midterms. He don't do that. That's not important enough. That's not important enough to get him to cry. This ain't early. This is too early. But as he said, they're annoying. And I'm gonna show you another clip of what they had to say about him.
yet, and frankly, the right attitude of humility and listening yet to get them.
I think that the attitude is important, Van. I mean, we've become, Democratic Party. What you've seen is it's become a more college-educated urban party in coalition with minority voters. And the messages tend to be moralizing. It's like it is. We are going to tell you. We will tell you what is right. We and no connection to
yet.
Here we said we're going to tell you what's right. We're going to moralize everything. And you see, he made the point that the Democratic Party is a college, urban, plus minority voter party. So we make these promises and a lot of these. I guess you can call them non-whites. And then we piss them off and we moralize them and tell them we know what's best for you. And we call the white people who don't want us, that we tell them that they're racist if they don't vote for us. And the niggas that, let me say this, they're all racist. The point is, some of these people are voting in their self-interest, as you should do. That's how it works. But they'll tell you that these people are, the reason why they're voting the way they're voting is just because of that. When in reality, these people are looking at their country, especially these people in rural areas in middle America, and they're seeing what they feel like is a takeover. They feel like they've been dictated and told what to do, that they've been told that their children are not really their children. They don't control what they learn. And they've been told they feel like they've been told a lot of lies in the past, and now the truth is starting to come out on some things, and they don't like what they're hearing. They want to believe that the reason why they reach the top is because they're the smartest, the most ingenuity, not because they, war, trickery, thievery, and murder. And now that realization is coming to some of them, and they're like, well, if that's who he is, we're going to stand on it. Basically.
like that white girl sitting there on the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being anything but white.
Yeah.
I accept it.
Yeah, exactly. Accept who you is.
Yeah.
Look, what's his name? In The Wire, when he said, if we did something that's on a lie, then we gonna stand on that lie. Because it's war. And that's how they feel. You in these schools telling them how wrong they are, and they like, listen, my kids don't need to know all that stuff. They're not finna grow old and hate who they are. Unfortunately for them, it's already too late. You know, they also brought out the bootlicks across social media to defend the Democratic Party. You had Jamel Hill come out. It's not messaging folks. This country simply loves white supremacy. They had another woman that came out and said something. It's clear that there's not yet a willingness to confront the landscape of American politics. The VA race was not about education or enthusiasm or change. There's no ability to engage with the grim reality of the electorate of white voters primed to embrace racial threats and to embrace the viral fantasies by a huge swath of the electorate is a real and difficult challenge, not just one party, but to the soundness of American democracy. Seems like you want somebody to give you a hug, and you're crying that these people don't want to be around you. They don't share your same, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't share your same morals. Not morals. They don't share your same sensibilities and stuff. They don't want to be around you.
I don't know what it is about that hug.
Y'all want these people to love you. That's what
they don't love you. They're never going to love you.
This whole thread is basically her saying, they won't love us.
The Democratic Party's job is to keep promising you empty promises.
That's it.
They never gonna fulfill them. To keep you coming back voting for them, and your dumb asses continue to do it.
Yeah. What's that dude named Bakari Sellers and all these dudes that's writing these articles telling black people to vote for them no matter what. And you just go, y'all just this is pathetic. You want somebody to give you a hug.
I want you to cut me a damn check. Fuck the hug.
I want to show this too. And this is to make a point that for some reason a lot of black people, we're still stuck on the idea of somebody in power having black skin. And for the most part, it never really works out because these people are put in position because they've been through the teachings and they've learned how to work in this system. Not to the benefit of their people, but to keep things as status quo. You see this right here. He said, you see right here, it said Alvin Bragg wins, becoming first black DA in Manhattan. It's a lot of firsts. It don't matter. You see here, it said New York is about to have a black attorney general, a black DA for Manhattan, a black DA for the Bronx, a black U.S. attorney in Manhattan, a black U.S. attorney in Brooklyn, Queens, and a black mayor in NYC. And
okay,
what's the benefit it's going to lead to?
Lori Lightfoot?
Exactly. Lori Lightfoot. She exists. What's good happening there?
What was that guy in the one that got his ass whooped? The one we always joke about who got his ass whooped? The Merlin guy?
I don't know.
I'm just pointing out it does no good. It doesn't matter if there's black people in any of these positions, they're not gonna do anything.
You want black people, but you want black people who have your idea of what's necessary to help black people in position of power.
Have we any that came across? Any that have done anything that are in positions?
I'm sure there's been a history of it, but they probably didn't last long. Another one here. Winsome Sears will be first woman of color in Virginia's lieutenant governor history. Now, she is a woman who's Republican, and she won the race in Virginia as the lieutenant governor, and she's a Jamaican.
Well, that's why they couldn't say will be the first African-American woman.
You think that's why?
Yeah, they had to put out a woman of color because that shit is becoming politics now. Yes. You can't just say you're a black American or African-American. Now you have to be hold to what nationality or country you come from.
Yeah, she is a Marine veteran, Jamaican. And this is a person that the Republicans are throwing in everybody's face to prove that,
they're not racist.
Yeah.
White supremacy is dead.
Yeah, white supremacy voted for their first lieutenant governor, black woman lieutenant governor, and it's like, all right.
Well, immigrants is always the first of everything, it seems. Our first black president was a half Kenyan man, so.
Minister Bernice King goes in on Biden's $450,000 border family proposal. Why not consider reparations for Black America? You know,
She didn't go in. She didn't go in.
You know, Biden asked her. You know, They asked Biden about this. You know, he said he didn't know anything about it.
He probably did know nothing about it.
But you know, he's doing it because he's trying to distance himself from it. Cause right now it's a black hole.
Shit, we see Biden sleeping at meetings, and he probably did know about it.
Unconfirmed reports that President Joe Biden is considering paying $450,000 each to people separate from their families in the southern border over the Trump administration's zero tolerance policy have upset the daughter of civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr. So she went on to say something. Did you listen to this? We're not gonna listen to it, I'm just gonna read it out. She said, "My heart is extremely heavy right now," Bernice King said in the video she posted on Twitter. "While I, like so many of you, care deeply for the families separated at our border and believe that assisting them is the just thing to do, I question how the president of the nation has it in his heart to consider this without expressing the working to full-time fulfill the need for reparations for Black people who have endured generations of physical, relational, psychological, and legislative, and yes, economic trauma. When this can continue, as my father said, we must recover. We cannot solve our problem now until there is radical redistribution of economic and political power. This radical retribution must include, in my words, comprehensive reparations for Black people." You don't disagree with her, do you?
I disagree with her. What she started off with.
What?
They chose to come over here. I don't feel no sympathy.
I don't care what
they
give them or don't get them. I'm not pro or against. I'm indifferent. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm not gonna fight.
That's right. Don't got nothing to do with me, so I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm only speaking on my behalf of my people. I'm not worried about nobody else.
My point is, I'm not finna go speak against what you think is your claim. That's your business. But
then I'm not gonna speak about her or say nothing at all.
Well, she says she feels.
We know she do.
Let's call it for it. You know you don't effed up when Miss Bernice King asking you about cutting our check, reparations now, reparations BADOS. Wait, what? Reparations for BADOS, that Black American descendant of slave, cut the check, don't make that, whatever.
Damn, we can't. I tell you, it's ADOS, DOS, FBA. It's just like so many damn acronyms. It's just like, why? Why as Black people we can't have one thing. It's got to be 10, 15, 20 multiple
because
things.
When people disagree, they just decide to, go their own way.
Shit is annoying.
Now, this is another thing I want to show. And this is less about, Jamel Hill is part of this, but it's less about Jamel Hill. Jamel Hill, you saw that tweet earlier where she said, it's white supremacy is why they voted for the Republican in Virginia. And she said here, somebody said, somebody was talking about the Democrats and how every 4 years they do this. They get voted in, they promise this stuff, they don't do nothing. Then the Republicans come and run against them for not doing nothing, then the Republicans win. It's just a cycle. It's almost like they're figuring out it's theater. It's not real. But she responded with, the Democrats' behavior can only be seen as complicity. Nice complicity, but complicity nonetheless. Letting those two Democrats who they told you to vote for, those people in Arizona and whatchamacallit. Now they're telling you, they stopping all the bills. I think that's bullshit. I think they're acting as people who are stopping things because they had a majority. They're just using them to say why they can't pass stuff. Derail an entire agenda is totally inexcusable. They're worthless. But come midterms, Black voters especially will be checked out. Now, that sounds like somebody who's starting to come to an understanding of what they should feel. This ain't helping us, so why vote? This right here, Denise Oliver-Velez, I guess how you say it. You say, young sister, I suggest you stick to sports. You clearly have a very limited grasp of politics. Let me carefully point out to you that this is about numbers. Here's a picture of Senate. Dems blue with 2 Indies, Thugs red. Count. I think she's trying to make the point that they can't pass anything because of the Republicans. Just wait. Then she went on to say, and to suggest not to come with the same tired, racist, lazy bullshit as everyone else, stick to sports, how original. She got mad at her saying that. She said, as a 74-year-old Black woman, I'll continue to call your trifling ass out when you are wrong-headed, like my mama, aunties, and grands did to me. She apologized because she said she's an old Black woman, so I can't talk to her a certain type of way. But this woman right here said this right here. She said, you have 1.4 million followers. I assume most of them are voting age. This is a long struggle. There is no microwave justice. It is irresponsible to add fuel to folks' frustration. Instead, anger and frustration has to be channeled into action against the correct targets.
Ain't it the same thing Obama said? You can't get tired.
You see it? Now, that's a good point you just made. This woman right here, Denise, just told Jamel Hill, who is a shield for the Democratic Party, don't talk bad about them. Niggas will stop voting for them. Basically, what she said. So she responded with, I received a correction, again, whatever. Then she said, the whole Dems accountable line is a cop-out. I hear it over and over. It's easy. No danger in it except the end result, which will get a lot of us killed. Take your ire and lob it to the buck-dancing Herschel Walker and his puppet masters. Get folks to vote. She's against not voting.
So if you black and you vote for the Democratic Party, you're not buck dancing.
You're not buck dancing. Even though she's admitting that they're not doing stuff for us, but that's not buck dancing. This woman is telling you to vote. She's pro-voting, pro-democracy, American system. She's pro the American system, right? Is a former Young Lords Party. I'm pretty sure that's the Mexicans, right? Young Lords. And Black Panther Party member.
Well, when you saw the first one, the feminist.
Yeah, the first thing she is a feminist. Then she's an activist. Then she's a former Young Lords.
Which means she's a woman
then
first.
She's a Black Panther Party. Look that up right quick. Young Lords is Mexican, if I'm not mistaken.
The Young Lords, formerly the Young Lords Organization or Young Lords Party, was a Chicago-based street gang that became a civil and human rights organization. The group aims to fight for neighborhood empowerment and self-determination for Puerto Rican, Latino, and colonized third world people that is not black.
But listen, she put feminists first, then activists, then Puerto Ricans and Latinos, then Black Panther Party member.
Hold on though. The Young Lords, their party was pretty much inspired by, the Black Panther Party.
I'm saying she put it last.
So why? See, this is the problem. Get me mad. How do you get to identify as a Young Lords Party and then be a Black Panther Party? That's two different groups of people.
Yeah. But what I want to talk about is, have you noticed that a lot of these former Black Panthers or whatever, the ones who are supposedly real are dead or in jail. But then you got these that come back and they're feminists. They're working in media. You know, the woman keep bringing up, Angela Davis. All of a sudden, they're in media, writing books. They're part of mainstream media all of a sudden. These are people who are supposedly a part of the Black Panther Party movement. Now you're in mainstream media, able to walk around and be a normal person. There are political prisoners, people that are in Cuba, all over the world right now that had to run from this country because of their association with them. People who were shot dead, but you're able to just move around the system. And now you're pro-America.
Well, they allow people like this to infiltrate the Black Party.
Now you're pro-America. You're pro-voting and all this stuff.
She had no business being in the Black Party Panther movement from the beginning.
So you see here, she said, I am not non-white. She said, I'm black. I've been black and proud to be black my whole life. My parents raised me like that. They grew up as Negroes. They had to drink the water fountains labeled colored. They lived long enough to become Afro-Americans and then African-Americans. I was and still am militantly black. I've lived through the Black Power of Stokely Carmichael and the Rap Brown, the clenched raised fist of the Panthers and the Young Lords, and through his decades, Black Lives Matter and Vote Like Black Women movements. I've never heard of Vote Like Black Women. My mom, who was never seen without her hair hot comb pressed straight as a board, even accepted my Afro hairdo. Though I was raised by a socialist dad, it's right there. You know, when I look back to the history of our people and our movements, it broke my heart when I realized most of their teachings and theories came from white people. It broke my heart. When I looked at the Black Panthers, looked up all these thinkers of the 20th century, black thinkers, how many of them got most of their beliefs and theories from Caucasians? It made me look at our people so different. It's crazy. She said, and I was a member of the Revolutionary Nationalist Socialist Movement as a young person. I do not want to hear anyone spouting that it is more important to address class issues before we deal with racism and white supremacy. But that's exactly what socialists believe. Classism over racism.
Bernie Sanders.
The two are inextricably intertwined in this country, founded on African enslavement. All the money and economic equality in the world won't wipe away our blackness and potentially death of white aimed bullets. Racial issues steeped in malevolent anti-blackness do not deserve black back of the bus status. So basically, I'm making the point. This is a person who's supposed to be so pro-black, yet they're pro-Democratic Party now. She's militant black, but she wants you to vote Democrat no matter what. That's what we now have as the so-called revolutionaries. That's an example of one of them, but this is not the real revolutionary.
She says her militant blackness does not preclude me from being a radical feminist, a black radical feminist. That's like that woman that you be talking shit about.
Who?
The other black woman, the light skin? Angela Davis.
I just brought her up, yeah.
Oh, dude, you be on her ass.
I'm telling you, I got to do that video at some point. But these type of people they infiltrated. I'm telling you, they are stooges. But, when I do my proper research and do a real documentary video on it, I'll be able to prove.
So W.E. Du Bois was a black socialist?
Yep.
So he moved, he went to Africa, but Marcus Garvey went to Europe?
But yeah, I just wanted to make this point that these are the people that we consider revolutionaries, but these are the ones that quote unquote survived when really they were the people who were agents to take down certain beliefs and thinking. And now the ones who are real are dead, in prison, or ran off to another country, while these people get to walk around the streets and act like they actually was about that life. And tell you, a black person who's fed up, you better vote for the Democrats, or you're a bootlicker. You the bootlicker if you don't vote for the Democrats now. It's crazy. But now the Democratic Party, they have their answer for what possibly could happen in 2022 and 2024. We'll see if Negroes stay with that, if they demand something, or if they continue to let themselves be pimped out. Anything else you want to say?
No.
All right. But anyway, man, y'all be safe. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the video. All praise to the Most High, and peace, man.